First and foremost, you need to be setting the strategic direction. There should be the business objectives and goals need to come from the brand. I can't tell the brand, hey, you want to be aiming for $5 million in revenue this year with this particular LTV to CAC ratio and all these other things. I mean, that's on their end. They need to understand what their objectives and goals are, what their investors are looking for. Then once we have that from them, it's up to us to set the strategy. And then once the strategy is set, what are the tactics that we're going to employ to try and achieve the strategy? But it really starts with, and this is why we won't work with brands that aren't able to clearly articulate what success would look like for them. Because if they don't know what success looks like, then how are we supposed to sort of benchmark and milestone ourselves against sort of a North Star? So that is a really important. But for us as the agency, we're supposed to be the strategic thought leaders. We work with 45 plus Shopify plus brands. We're in around these tools and technologies on a daily basis. So we're here to provide that expert level guidance. And then the actual execution itself is important, but that's not as important as the strategy and what are the tools that we're going to employ to be able to deploy that. There are a couple of key points when an agency makes sense. One would be you're just getting started out, and as opposed to trying to take a crack at it yourself, you go out, find an agency, and we do this a lot where we just build them the framework. Here's what you need to get off the ground and running. And then that's a one-time project, and then they go off for 6 to 12 months, and then they might come back once they've started to scale a little bit more, and then we can help them refine and tailor the strategy moving forward. So I think that's one key point. Second would be brands that are not looking to have a lot of overhead internally and are looking to maybe have just a marketing manager that takes care of managing anywhere from 4 to 6 different agencies across a site. And then I'd say the third is companies that have a problem or have a goal, aren't necessarily sure how to either address it or get to that goal. And then they employ and bring in an agency to be that sort of strategy setter, the thought leader who's going to be able to take them from here's your problem, here's how we're going to fix it, or here's your goal, this is how we're going to achieve it. More often than not, I'd say actually 100% of the time, the team that's selling you is not the team that is delivering for you. So until you get started and going with an agency, you really have no idea. What's important is to leverage customer referrals, to look at technology companies, who they look at as a trusted source of services. And I think being able to have that confidence really comes from knowing that the agency has a process. So in your sales and discovery calls, really dig into how they organize and structure the relationship, because if they don't even know that, or they don't have a framework for how they engage and work with a client, then it's a 50-50 toss-up whether or not things are going to work for you, because you might have communication problems, you might not be able to nicely integrate with the team. So that's why for us, we're so laser focused on process, especially in that first 2 weeks of onboarding, getting up to speed with the client, getting into their brand, going through the questionnaire, going through our audit process. That needs to be really tight, because that's either going to make or break the relationship, that first week to 2 weeks.